This is the story about the old mine town of Idaho City. This old town is about 25 miles northeast of Boise, Idaho. It was back in 1862 that gold was discovered in an area of Idaho known as the Boise Basin in southern Idaho. This gold rush would become the largest gold rush since 1848 in California, and for a brief period of time, Idaho City was the largest city in the Pacific Northwest. In fact, during that short time, the population was even bigger than Portland, Oregon. Originally, this town was called Bannock, but sometime in 1864, the Idaho Territorial Legislature changed the name to Idaho City. Other camps close by included Placerville, Centerville, and Pioneerville. Idaho City became the largest of all the camps, mostly because of the abundance of water close by. Like most gold camps back in the day, this camp was started when gold was found in one of the nearby creeks. The creeks here were extremely rich. An old article that was written stated that miners could fetch as much as $18 a pan worth of gold, with some miners getting as much as $80 a pan. This was back in a time when gold was a mere $16 an ounce. Of course, gold finds like this is a recipe for any rush, and within a couple years the town of Idaho City had a population of almost 7,000. One miner was noted as saying, "You could not buy any of our claims for $3,000 down, and as for mine, I would not sell for any price, as I think all the money I want is in the claim. I think there is about 2,000 men on Granite Creek or near here, and thousands more will find good diggings here in the spring." With all the creeks in the area being mined, Granite Creek saw the most action. Other popular creeks nearby included Elk Creek and Morris Creek. By the spring of 1864, word had gotten out about these rich creeks, and the town really took off. By the summer of that same year, it was reported that the town had over 40 different shops and stores. There were half a dozen bakeries, around a dozen doctors, some lawyers, several blacksmith shops, 4 or 5 sawmills, butcher shops, shoe repair, and even a couple of breweries. The town also had a few livery stables with a harness shop, and there was said to even be a mattress factory. Of course, with a population that goes from almost nothing to over 7,000 in a couple of years, there is bound to be some unsavory characters that come into town. At first, violence was quite common, and as one newspaper article stated in 1863, crime is frequent. Homicides occur almost every day. By the late 1860s, however, the creek started to peter out, and the easy pickings were gone. At this time, a lot of miners packed up and left, and the population fell by over half. It was at this time that the Chinese miners moved in and took over the claims that the previous miners had worked. Other miners that stayed on started to try their hand at lode mining, and for several years, underground mining kept the town's economy alive. However, the amount of gold recovered was not near the same as what the placer miners had achieved. Then around the late 1890s, the Boston and Idaho Gold Dredging Company took over some claims and started dredging in the district. These dredges helped keep the town alive for several years. However, eventually they too ran out of the good-paying ground and mining came to a halt. Just like so many old gold camps we read about, we can't forget to mention fires. Idaho City had 4 different fires over the years. One in 1865, one in 1867, one in 1868, and another in 1871. And while we are talking about fires, we might as well mention the fire on June 5, 2015, that burned down a few buildings also. You can still go to the old town of Idaho City today. It is about 25 miles northeast of Boise. The town is home to about 400 to 500 people, and I read that some small-scale mining still goes on during the summer months. I hope you enjoyed this short story about the old town of Idaho City. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more old lost mine stories.